It is I, Skeletor, and I have been awakened. Ooh, and all my minions on Kickstarter. Yes. Ooh, it's a beautiful day. Ooh. I'm gonna be dancing because all of my minions are gonna be resurrected. It's so exciting! CMON have brought me back from the dead! Let's get to the main feature of today! Welcome, peeps, to the CMON Kickstarter of September. It's the Masters of the Universe, the board game. Clash for Eternity. Eternia. Alright. Well, it's blowing up, of course. It is CMON, and people are like, why is it not hit $1 million on its first day? That's because of the IP of Masters of the Universe, of course. There was a August Masters of the Universe for Europe only, which was an adventure game, and that was during my COVID time, so I couldn't cover it on the channel because I did lose my voice for the whole of August. Goodness gracious, the bloody Delta virus, damn it. Anyhow, I'm glad to be covering this one because it is looking very good indeed. A lot of people disappointed though, comparing it to the European version, because the map on the European version was spectacular, and people pretty much worried about this one here. But nonetheless, let's crack on because I think they have something special here. Disclaimer: I loved Masters of the Universe back in the 90s. I even had a sticker book of Masters of the Universe in the 80s. I don't know how much that would have been worth if I'd kept it, because the IP has come back strong in the last few years, isn't there? Comic books have been hit big time. There's going to be 2 TV series as well. Is one going to be live action? Really interested in that one. And I think, is one going to be a comic style? I don't think I'm up on my Master Universe 2020, but I do know my Masters of the Universe 1980. So let's crack on with it. Well, still almost 3,500 backs in, you know, really, really good. An odd 17 days. What are these 17-day projects all about? Well, they have programmed in daily stretch goals. So that means 17 or 16 daily stretch goals of epic proportions. So all very good. Now, I have been critical of CMON's Kickstarters in the past by, yeah, too much plastic, not enough features or gameplay, blah blah blah, and some minis just being a, you know, just a skin change and not really bringing anything new. However, the Masters of the Universe was originally a comic book, and lots of the heroes and baddies of the comic book never actually made it onto the TV series in the 80s. And there is a lot of fanboyism in the comments asking to bring all of them into this game, which, I mean, they've got the best publisher on their backs for that, because CMON love pushing minis out. CMON often do minis that are way off the IP that they're doing and try to bring in popular culture, but here they are bound by the IP. And if they keep bringing out IP baddies and heroes, then it's going to please a lot of fanboys. There's already an absolute ball of hate coming from Europe because of the IP, and it's nothing to do with CMON. This is more the IP of Masters of the Universe. I don't know if Mattel is involved with this IP, but it does sound ludicrous that there is 2 IPs, because even if both games existed in the universe, they could still have sold out both copies to each fanboy, right? Because they can both exist in the same space. They don't actually harm each other, because people would have bought both of them anyway. So I don't really understand this IP nonsense. It's pretty appalling. I mean, for me, what the IP should have really have done is, if the European one is an adventure, then this one cannot be an adventure. So what have we got here? We've got a skirmish with scenarios. And although we are plastered on Kickstarter with skirmishes, certainly in 2021, I've covered at least 6 amazing skirmish games this year. Bang, 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 bang. And of course, one of the greatest skirmish games, Arena the Contest. You can get that on the current Kickstarter, which is highly competitive if you want to play competitive skirmish. But hey, let's come back to this Kickstarter. Enough with the other stuff, because we've not even gone down the page yet, because there's just so many great stories around this. Now, what we're looking at here is just a preview box. I really hope they do like these deep boxes, which are popular on Kickstarter, instead of just bringing out these base boxes, because CMON are guilty of late to be bringing out, you know, we're going to make it this size because this size is going to go to retail, and it's the other boxes which are going to be Kickstarter exclusive. Well, if that is the case, then why don't you just look at what the competition are doing? Because let's say you put all your stretch goals in a big chunky square box and you bring this one out in retail. There's no reason why you just don't bring a Masters of the Universe in a big box and have a separate box as a retail also, because other companies are doing this. If you look at, for example, what's it called? Editor, please help me. I want to say Shadowborn. That game's going to have a big box and the expansions are going to be small. You could just make this base an expansion and give us this big box that we love on Kickstarter. Anyway, that was one thing. Now, you've just got this one board. People scratching their head at this board, especially if there's different scenarios. Now, they do have these tiles that they're putting out to differentiate these as well. And there's already comments for a playmat. But let me just show you something the competition are doing over at Arena the Contest with Tenaris RPG. Let's just switch to this. Now imagine if this was Masters of the Universe and one of the add-ons was a 24 map pack. Not just dungeons, but a map pack. I mean, look at this. 12 double-sided A1, which is huge, poster maps for $29. This would be incredible for the experience of the skirmish game if it has scenarios, because each scenario can't be in each plane, and it would be fantastic to actually travel across all the terrains towards the end scenario if you had this map pack. So forget this concept of a playmat. What you want for this game is a map pack. And if the competition can do 24 maps for $29, CMON, oh, you could get everybody in the Americas rubbing their hands with sheer excitement of what you could be doing on this amazing Kickstarter that's already going. So it could be a cherry on the cake if we did get something like this. Let's return to the Kickstarter. Now, one thing they are doing is, in the stretch goals, offering 3D terrain. Well, I've got to give props to CMON. You've actually woken up to what people request on Kickstarter. And the more terrain that comes out, the better for the scenario changes. There is also tiles that include water and things like this. I would love it if the water came with UV spotting. If you did lava tiles, that came with UV spotting, and anything that's shiny, UV spotting, of course. Now, talking about the game, they've even said this in the comments, CMON themselves, that if you don't like chucking dice, this is not the game for you, because there is one boatload of dice rolling going on. It's all dice rolling combat and all that good stuff. There is dice mitigation, of course. Your heroes do have special powers, but it's mainly dice rolling, so you need to be aware of that. If you like card combat, this is not the place for it. No, so it's 1 to 5 player, 14 plus. Don't understand this thing. That thing needs... I'm going to have to do a video about age groups on board games because they're irrelevant, really. Anyway, an hour. You can play this in an hour. The skirmishes could be 1 hour. Now, you might think because it's IP bound, it's a bit... If you're playing scenario based, it's not like He-Man can get gear because he's always in his WWF wrestling outfit, pardon my French. And he always has his sword of power, so can't really change that up, can you? But it'd be interesting if you went on, if it was scenario, this is talking about a campaign scenario where they bleed into each other. Would be nice that in each scenario a new player came in, so you took over another hero to go with your main He-Man. That would be nice because you would be playing a different hero as well as He-Man on the different scenarios, because you don't really want to be playing the same gameplay through all the scenarios, do you? And with all the baddies they're going to unlock, that would be great because you've got new baddies every scenario. It would be mega exciting. Okay. Got these plastic dials. They've got a real hard on CMON for plastic, haven't they? We actually prefer double, you know, we'd actually prefer card that's dual layered or even triple layered. This plastic thing is a little bit, I don't know. I don't know about these plastic things. Certainly this gunmetal grey, we are in the navy colour. It's like warship grey. It's horrible, isn't it? I don't know. Could they not just change the colour? I don't know. Because if you go for card, you can put full beautiful art across it. You can, on the back side, have more art of lore and stuff like this. But at the minute, you're kind of limiting yourself. But hey, you know, they've gone plastic. It's an upgrade from the stretch goal, so they believe it's an upgrade. But hey. All right. 2020 Mattel. Was this supposed to be kickstarted last year, but it was put on the back burner? I'd like to know that story. Now it says you can upgrade skills. I do like this concept, and if they do have this campaign scenario, which I don't think they've announced yet, but might be coming, hopefully, then He-Man can get different upgrade skills on each level. For example, you might come to a scenario where it's a lot of swamp, so He-Man gets a new ability that he can jump around and start traversing, so he has a different gameplay for that scenario. This is what I kind of want from He-Man here with this. I know it's scenario based, but I want them linking towards a main objective. A loose campaign, if you like. So yeah, they're IP bound and they're getting all of the heroes from the comics, TV show, everything that people know. You can see the different abilities that each have here as well, and it all looks good. Everyone that's playtesting it are having fun when playing it, and I love the He-Man on the Battle Cat, of course. For people that aren't painting the minis, it would be nice to have coloured bases for when you're playing, just because you might have a lot of minis on the board, just to help out clarity. I like it that Skeletor is on the Panther as well. This is really cool, and it would be cool if it was I know I keep talking about these scenarios in a campaign style, but Skeletor could turn up during the scenarios, but always escape at the end of it, you know, as they always does. But to fight all these peeps in the different scenarios would be really cool. They have got these soldiers and hoverer, but I don't even know if all these are needed, because you're going to be unlocking so many heroes and baddies that I don't know. yeah, so it all looks very, very cool. I love that they've got these double-sided overlays. These really make it very, very cool. They look really nice as well. The art is really good. I mean, the plain scenario board here is really meant for all these tiles to be laid on. More plastic. I'm wondering though, do people paint this? Do people paint the dashboards? Especially because this one, the controller plastic dashboard has it's like got a rock imprint on it, so you know, maybe. Artwork on the cards is fantastic. It obviously has Mattel here controlling it, so that it has to be accurate as well to the comics, which is fantastic. Skill cards are double-sided, nice. All does look good, and the different strategy cards and fun. The gameplay is fun, like I said, lots of dice chucking, and there's like an interesting concept of, as you get stronger, the enemies scale up to your difficulty, so yeah. It's these water tokens that I would prefer UV spotting on. It is that touch of Kickstarter that you can give people, and it really notches your game up at that level when you start UV spotting board parts, so yeah. And the reason I'm highlighting the UV spotting is because they're doing 3D terrain, which is something fantastic. Now they have, I'm happy they've kind of announced the big whale pledge. I'm pretty sure most people think there's going to be an add-on. And then like a super all-in pledge. But hey. The castle looks fantastic. I love the 3D hexes as well. Looks very, very good. This is the trailer, and when I saw this trailer, I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna have hexagon 3D tiles, it's gonna be fantastic. And then no, the 3D tiles are only with the castle, so yeah, sad as that is. Well, 3D terrain, are they gonna do a 3D terrain pack? Because that would be oh my god, are you kidding me? Would make it so fantastic. I do like this scenario base with the tower, because you've got different minis here, like as we go down, we've got turrets and things like that. And these cards for the ladder, weapon rack, training dummy, all this stuff is realized in 3D, so this is a great add-on. I mean, they're showing this bit, but when you get to the 3D stuff, it's like you can forget about it, because this stuff here, look, 3D terrain, amazing work, CMON. Finally, they're waking up to what's trending, or what's been trending for years on Kickstarter, and they're finally coming back into the Premiership, I feel, with this game. I mean, the toy factor with this is phenomenal, isn't it? There's the incredible paint job on the original video. Painted minis look great as well. They are using these flat bases, which I'm not a fan of, but you can see here that each person can put their own little bits of grass on if they do, but yeah, the minis are all very cool. They have all their own little special abilities and stuff like that. And I think it's all game for an epic scenario campaign. Are you listening to me, CMON? Campaign linked to scenarios. Now, so they are doing these daily reveals. So if you think it is expensive, well, you need to think that this price is actually what you're going to get on the last day, because they have factored in dailies for the next 2 weeks. So If you think it's expensive, get on the remind me, and you might just get on the remind me anyway, because this is day one. They've already emailed 13 emails from them. You just get you get artillery shells of emails coming in from CMON, don't you? Because they have every stretch goal ready to rock and roll in an update, which is great, but it's overload. Some people asking about Buzz Off here, because it would be great if his wings were translucent. That is a quite interesting point, actually, because they were doing translucent parts in their last Kickstarter for X-Men, that game. These are the plastic things that have been stretched, and more minis in the dashboard. I love the Mechanet guy, very cool. Here's this 3D terrain that's coming in. It is really nice that they're doing this. Snout Spout. What a strange character. Some of these you might just be like, who is he? Well, it's coming from the comics maybe back in the 70s, is it? Anyway. Blast Attack, he looks fantastic, doesn't he? That's going to be great painting. I mean, most of these are going to be great painting at the moment, right? Alright, this is going to get longer, so optional buys, the 3D terrain pack, 75. Absolutely. The Assault actually, this 50 is coming with terrain that you don't want. If you're buying the 3D, I don't want this stuff. Yeah, so how's that working? Because you've got a lot of redundancy here. Anyhow. So there we go. They have updated their shipping, funnily enough. There's the warning it doesn't ship to Europe, the continent Europe. And here we are. Now, Latin America 130. They're actually using USPS here, so this might change. And when I say might change, it might get lower. So I think it's definitely $1 pledging to actually see what your shipping turns out to be. And you'll notice shipping to the US is fairly high. I know the US patrons and backers hate paying for shipping, but we're in a different kind of world now, and it's coming roughly a year from now. And if anyone is concerned, just do the $1 pledge. CMON have actually said it's okay to do that. They are fully understanding the situation that all Kickstarters are in, and props to them. They're being very pro-consumer about the shipping $1 pledge. Right. No social goals, actually, CMON. I mean, you don't normally do social goals, but I highly recommend you do it. I know everyone's talking about it, but there's often people that don't get on it. I mean, your marketing can't hit everything, right? And even if it was just to get up top of the BGG count, back at the top of the kick track, that needs kind of your social goals, so get on that. And I recommend looking at the Flamecraft Kickstarter campaign for some examples of social goals. One of them that would be really cool would be go into a coffee shop, put your name as He-Man, and when they shout double espresso, He-Man, and you can then go, for the power of Grayskull! And everyone looks at you and you go, back it on Kickstarter. That'd be kind of funny. That's something they did on Flamecraft, actually. They wanted a picture of your coffee receipt with the name Flamecraft as your name. That would be kind of fun. And Flamecraft were doing like activities that were using the game's IP to make a bit of fun, and I think a lot of your fan base would love to get on that journey of the stretch goals. So lots are happening on this Kickstarter. First priority I want to see is the campaign from the scenarios. Won't be that difficult to implement, and if not, it will go fan-based. I believe so, because the 3D terrain lets you build up your own areas, right? Number 2 on the list, I want to see a map pack. like I showed you, that $29 for 24 maps at A1 size. Are you kidding me? I would kill for that. I'm going to be backing this and paying the $160 to Mexico if that comes to this game, because the scenarios then will have so much superb immersion for that, wouldn't it, peeps? Yeah, so I think that's it, really. I mean, it's looking absolutely fantastic. There might be some kind of special dice coming out that I can see as well. Dice for the heroes and dice for the baddies would be great. And all that stuff. And yeah, if they do scenarios, that means they can give them different heroes for the different terrains that they might be coming up against. And interesting stuff like that. And yeah, super cool. You could even do an underwater scenario. And they've got swimming combat and underwater combat techniques. That would be great to see, and swimming through caves and stuff. You could absolutely do stuff from the comics that could make it into like a little bit of an adventure, and just not a skirmish game on one map. So yeah, forget about the play map. We want 24 big A1 scenario posters. Even if it's a poster, you just play on the poster. Everything's dandy. So there we go. I think this is the first CMON game I've been actually positive from, because I've just seen so many good signs from CMON doing really good stuff. 3D terrain, fantastic. And $1 pledge, fantastic. And the art on the cards, the hero abilities, and all that stuff, really good. UV spotting on some of the terrain too. Keep the 3D terrain on the stretch goals. More of that, the merrier. And I guess do all the heroes that everyone's clamoring and shouting for in the comments, because you are the masters of plastic minis. So yeah, and I guess the wish that is not coming is to have a big square box with your content in. That's not coming, is it? And I know everyone's probably shouting for painted minis. Well, you're not going to get that, are you? Even though if it was $500 and CMON were making $100 off every painted set, I don't think they're going to do it. Well, I've got one thing to say to you, CMON. WizKids are doing painted boxes at retail, not Kickstarter, retail, and they always sell out. So even if you've got 1,000 painted boxes, they'd sell out like hotcakes. So I don't know if any shareholders listening to this for CMON, get on to the CEO, because they're missing a easy sell with painted minis. Everyone's probably shaking their head like, yes, CMON, come on, painted minis. That's, you know, I mean, Kickstarter's the place where miracles happen, so we just have to wait and see. But just over 2 weeks, peeps, to get on. I imagine it's going to hit over 600,000, and let me just click this community. 63 backers from Germany. What are you doing? 47 backers from United Kingdom. What are you doing? Look, 29 backers from Mexico. Woohoo! We're actually in the list here. I love it. Look, Italy and Spain. This is not shipping to Europe, peeps. What on earth are you doing? I don't know, but who are these people? There is a lot of people in the comments and dropping their pledges because they live in Europe, and there's nothing you can do about that because of the IP. So peeps, I hope you've enjoyed the content. Please give it a thumbs up for your appreciation, and we cover all live amazing Kickstarters on the channel, so please think about subscribing, and if you want up-to-date videos, of course, ring the bell. Please let me know in the comments what you think of this Kickstarter. What would you like to see? And I will be coming back in the 48-hour period to give my final thoughts, because if any magic happens, which can happen on CMON campaigns, I'll need to shout about all the goodness from the campaign, or will it leave me disappointed in where it travels? Whatever the case, there's going to be all those daily goals, more stretch goals coming out, more fun, excitement, and lots of interesting stuff to come from this Kickstarter. It's going to be a fantastic journey, is it not? And I don't blame you for having to remind me now, so you don't get that massive obliteration of emails every day. Well, thank you so much for watching. You are listening to Kickstarter Radio 102.4. I've been your host, Lipstickpaddy. You take care, stay safe, and bye-bye for now.